Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am joined here today by Adam to paint over this incredible model. I was so glad you were willing to come on because I wanted to talk to you about this thing. There's a lot going on with it.
Yeah, there's quite a bit going on.
I zoomed in, to start erasing around it all. And you just start to, when you really study this thing, there's just so
Mhm.
much going on, and I'm not, all caught up on, what part of these vehicles there are and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's going to be good to learn more about this.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it. I like kind of seeing how the sausage is made a little bit,
Yeah.
And I've been watching a few of your paint overs, and it's very fascinating. I find it very interesting. So,
Thank
and
you.
of course, your results are just gorgeous. So,
I appreciate that. Keith from Warhammer Guild. Hello there. Thanks for joining us, Keith. Appreciate it. This is going to be a fun one. So I already cropped it out because after the first few streams, I was like, I don't know if someone wants to watch a half hour of me erasing a fine edge. I'll try. And this one wasn't bad. This was probably a little over a half hour on this one because it's a lot of straight edges. But
mhm.
so I did that, and I try to usually get myself now a little comfortable, like with where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to give a couple minutes kind of on my thought process and how I start this. I it was You have yellow and blue on this, which already
Mhm.
it's striking because especially the yellow is in front of the model, and if people don't know, in general, warm colors, um, cool colors recede, and warm colors, what's the opposite of recede? Protrude? I don't know, but they come forward. So it was already good in that regard, and it was matched up. The other thing is, I know there's going to be exhaust on the back of these, and the exhaust on this, because of the blue, it's going to look really good and a nice orange. So you'll have the yellow front, then I'll have the blue body, and then I'll have a nice orange, like the engine burst. So they're going to look really good. So
Cool.
then I knew those were going to be the colors, and I want a sky color or wherever they at to kind of go with that. So my first thought, like, I'm always attracted to like oranges and stuff. I'm like, well, we're going to have the nice, that burners going on. So I want to
Mhm.
have some of the contrast, on the sky. So I kind of want to go. I'm going to start with a teal here, and I don't know really what's going to happen yet. It might get kind of grayed out and moved around, but that's just kind of where my head's at when I start this thing. And now, Adam, tell me some about it. Like, what's this huge? First of all, the hoses blow my mind. I love these engine. Those are just. It looked so cool. And the little gunner guys. There's gunners all over on these
Uh-huh.
wings. There's the gunner. There's the gunner up front. I was staring at it a while, trying to figure out what I'm going to have firing, and it might be a lot of stuff.
Fire all the things,
Yeah,
Mordaka.
that's it. I'm like, it's over. They can fire everything. That's kind of what they do.
Yeah, this model has a storied past actually. Um, for the longest time, I was running all the events at my FLGS,
Okay.
and some of the guys. So the store got a couple of Thunderhawks to that somebody wanted them to sell
Mm-hmm.
for them. So the store approached some of the guys and they're like, "Hey, does anybody want these Thunderhawks? There's only enough parts to fully complete one Thunderhawk." So there was a Thunderhawk and a Thunderhawk Transporter.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so my buddy John, he really wanted the Thunderhawk for his Grey Knights. I'm not sure what it's going to end up as right now, but he really wanted it for that army. Um, but they were like, well, I mean, what do we do with this other like 3/4 of a Thunderhawk? I know. So they bought it and they gave it to me as a gift, which wasn't a problem because I was obviously going to use it as an orc vehicle anyways, and I had
Yeah.
plenty of bits. So I put it together, and it was really cool. I had kind of a slapdash effort on the paint because it was a really big piece, and it was a little intimidating. And I think it
Oh
was
yeah.
fairly early on. So recently I decided, you know what, it needs to be repainted and kind of redone. So prior to this, it actually only had one pair of wings, and it didn't have
Oh.
the cannon on the top. Yeah, it didn't have a whole lot of the stuff that it's got right now. So I announced that I was going to redo it in the new paint scheme. I'm actually in the course of repainting all about 28,000 points of my orcs,
Oh
and
my gosh. I was
yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot, but it's in
Wow,
this.
I just got tired. That just made me tired.
Just thinking about it, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why today I'm painting something simple and fun. My buddy asked me to do print him a everything is fine dog from the meme.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, in the burning building or whatever.
Yeah, so I thought he was cute. So I'll do him today. But anyways, a little bit of a palette cleanser. So everything's being repainted in this blue and yellow scheme because they're death skulls. So
Yeah.
someone else I know, Colin, he's from Legalized Mischief. I think he does a bunch of YouTube stuff too.
Okay.
Uh, he's a painting guy. He had some parts. I'm not sure if they were legit parts or not, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you what I think they were, because they actually had some of the blue Games Workshop mold like stuck in the
Oh, like
resin. And that's actually classic GW. If you get that, I think that means it's probably actually a legitimate pieces.
a
So he had extra wings and a few other extra parts, and he just shipped those to me for nothing, because he's like, I want to see what you do with this. So that's how it ended up as an X-wing. Um,
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's how it gets the extras on there.
yeah, and I had a few extra engines and stuff, so that was really cool. Um, what else? So the cannon, that was from a Basilisk Earthshaker
Oh,
cannon.
yeah. Now I recognize it. Okay.
The regular Thunderhawk does actually in fact have like a cannon on it. So it kind of, I mean, it looks ridiculous on the regular one. So it's even
Yeah.
more ridiculous on this one.
Oh, but it worked because of the orc thing. It is like the only what I would think ridiculous, but it's in the comfort zone where I think it makes a great addition. You know what I mean? It's orc
Yeah.
ridiculous, not model ridiculous, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, when it comes to customizing models, if you can add, and I think it's similar to some art things too. If you can add enough layering on top of it,
Yeah.
it looks it kind of binds the piece to the bigger form.
Yep.
So even
I
though
can see that.
I have a big cannon there, but there's also hoses coming off it and a few metal plates, and you've got the little gunner in front. So it frames it in a way that makes it look a lot more natural.
I agree with that. No, you did brilliantly on that. Yeah, it
And
just like really it looks like it attaches properly, you know?
mm-hmm, yep. Thanks. What else? So the little gunners on the wings. So normally a Thunderhawk has underslung heavy bolters on
Yeah.
all of its wings. So usually there's no gunner for that. It's probably managed by some machine spirit or somebody inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
But I had some parts left over from Docket Jets. I've got like 4 or 5 of those guys. So I had some parts left, so I glued some Docket Jet grot gunners onto the wings there to make it look like they're um, operating the underslung big
Yeah. That
shields.
was brilliant. I see this little deal. I'm like, that is just so cool.
Thanks. I love those guys. You got to add grots to everything. And there's a few grots just hanging on. I'm
Yeah,
not
I was
sure if
looking.
I caught him
This
in this
guy on the
pick.
back, is he repairing hoses or something?
He's got a little rocket pack on, and
Yeah.
he's carrying a stick bomb, which is a grenade, and he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
waiting. He's just waiting for somebody to
Get
come
close.
along. And if you look just above the hoses, that's where he is.
Yeah, I saw
There he
him
is, hanging
there.
off the machinery.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, because that to me, especially in the early GW art, that I really liked all the grots everywhere, and it was just one of those
Hmm.
things where I saw those. I was like, okay, yeah, it's all added in there, and it's got that feel. I I gotta try something. How can I bring up? Oh wait, that wasn't the right way to do it.
So the hoses that you thought were cool, those are you can make those yourself with green stuff, and they are. I did that with a Green Stuff World hose roller. Yeah, they also do
Oh,
tentacles. You can do tentacles as well with different ones, but it's basically just two pieces of plastic with parallel lines,
oh, you almost like
and
roll
you
it.
roll them together, and it makes
Gotcha.
a ribbed hose. And the
Yeah,
cool,
you did that brilliantly. I could see that for orcs or titans or any of that stuff.
hmm
You get some great extra stuff.
oh yeah, it's wonderful, and it's nice and uniform, and it really comes out great. And the other cool thing about that is you can bend it. You can do the bend when before it's dried or before it's set, and just make it too long. Just make it
Gotcha.
too long for the thing you want, and you can just cut it.
Yep.
You're not all you're losing is like 5 cents worth of green stuff. So you don't have to make it exactly the right size.
Yeah, that thing is incredible. I pulled up some of the other tweet you had with it, with the
Mm-hmm.
hoses from that back side, the back view.
Mm.
Now,
And again, layering. See, and I put the little pieces of plastic card over it so that you don't actually see where it connects to the
yeah,
vehicle.
absolutely. No, and that's good call on that because it looks so natural.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this thing was awesome when I saw it. I'm just marking in some of the. Want to put some gunfire and see where the compositionally where it's at. What are
Mm-hmm.
okay? So this blue one, what are like those front? Are they like shoot arcs or what kind of thing is that?
Yeah, those shoot like energy bolts. Actually, I think they shoot gravity bolts. So
What
it can
have
be
you
any
ever?
color you want. Let's put it that
Okay,
way.
okay, okay. Good, 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 good. So I can introduce a color with that one. All right.
Yep.
And what kind of flyer is that called? The bottom one. What is that?
That is a oh man.
No
What is
worries.
that?
Yeah, no worries.
Wasbomb Blastojet.
Oh, see, I
Wait,
would
I
never
think
remember any of that. So that okay.
yeah, it's like a mech airplane that shoots lasers and has a force field projector. It's kind of a
Okay.
really good wingman for the bigger ship because it can protect it with a force field.
Oh, good to know. See, and that kind of thing I had to learn. So yesterday's stream, I was doing this one. Uh, and I'm going to have the person on to talk about the second half. It's just like halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to do like the void shields. Like I haven't done void shields or whatever, so I was like, well, let me try. So I was going to start trying to do some like the void shield strikes on this one. And so I was like, huh. It's nice to have the person on who made it because you just know so much more about it. And it's like, oh, okay, I can
Mm-hmm.
put that, and I talk to them about the colors and all that kind of stuff. So it's good. It's good to get that kind of because those little details are what can bring the Paintover kind of to life.
Mm-hmm. And if he did say, "Oh, is there any way you could have the plasma glow different?" Would all you have to do is just like switch one variable on that layer, or would you have to redo it?
So it really depends. So like right now, I, I'm getting it more and more down as I do these. I
Mm-hmm.
try to, so I have one layer up top with these laser blasts on top, and I use
Mm-hmm.
the same color on those for right now, and then this layer is underneath with the
Mm-hmm.
jet exhaust. So if someone is around and they were like, hey, I want it more purple, like I can isolate this layer and let me see. I can just go like this, and then, oh wait, that's saturation. I can just shift through colors. It's like one thing you can't do painting a mini.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll do that on the background color or something. I'll pick one, but then I'm like, I'm not sure. And if you scroll through, you might see one that comes across. You're like, oh, that really works well, and you wouldn't have thought of it, you know?
Mhm.
Like even blue would look cool behind it, but it doesn't make it pop as much as the orange does.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to undo it to get the original one back. And so, yeah, I can adjust on that, especially early. So at a certain point, like when these blasts say they're coming off like right here, later on what I'll end up doing is coming in here and, whoops, why isn't that working? Okay.
And it looks like it's less of a question. Oh, sorry. It looks like it's less of a question of, physically being able to do it. More of a question of, if I change this one color, it destroys the whole.
Yeah.
I have to rethink every other color.
It almost. And when I get to the reflected light, I'll start putting glows on the ship from the gunfire, and then that really changes things. But in essence, yeah, when I'm kind of working up, okay, the color palette, this goes with this, and then how does that fit? And I kind of work up a few things at once: the composition, which guns are going to go off, what colors are going to be.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, it is kind of like, even though it's a little bit easier to change it up after the fact, thinking ahead of time is is still the same.
Oh yeah.
In painting, you definitely want to think ahead of time, but still, for what you do, it's also very helpful.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got to have, it's the same thing, kind of have a plan and execute, and a lot of it I will just, stumble through. It's like, okay, I think something here, I think I want something here. I can't tell what it is. And a lot of times that's what I'll end up doing with the background. This one I love because I'm going to be able to blur some of the wings of the back of the ship, and it'll give it some great motion. That's why I love the flyer ones, because you can do that. And then I can kind of play with the perspective. I love this shape right here. I marked it up. Like just for the photo, that's kind of like the basic shape of like the composition. I'm like, I don't even know what that means, a composition nerd. I'm like totally into composition with stuff.
Yeah.
And this photo was really good. So I was like, well, I'll put some lines on what I'm seeing, because a couple people had commented, hey, we like hearing more about the thought process. So I wanted to, start learning how to include that more.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something I'm interested in hearing about as well. So
yeah. And you have this nice, so it's like this nice angled shape. It like when you look on this as a whole picture, you can see how that shape, it's almost, to me, it's pleasing to the eye. It's weighted in the corner, but because there's two other sections like here and here that are empty, it just balances out. And so this too, when you have an angled line like this, somehow you see like a curve with it. So I'm always kind of thinking, okay, I got a lot of straight lines here. What can I get in that's kind of curved, whether it's like smoke, or on some of the bigger ones, you could go like a planet in the background or something with a curved line. So it's a lot of this, it's just like painting. It's about contrast. It's like, do you have like soft lines against hard lines, or curved lines against straight lines? And you try to work it in to get that, nice visual interest.
Okay.
How long to paint this? Like, I love how you did the weather. When I zoom in here, there's the driver with the cockpit, and it's got like this great wear pattern where it really is ripping through the sky. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be able to play this up, with some sparks and stuff coming off and matching that. How long did this thing take?
This was almost a total repaint. Like most of my repaints are going to be like my army was like yellow and red.
Yep.
This one was red and red, blue. What it was all kinds of weird colors, and so this got all totally repainted. And I think it took me a couple of weeks. This one took me. I'm a pretty fast painter, and so a couple of weeks is actually quite a long time
Yeah.
for me. Um, but there's obvious reason for that. There's a lot going on in this
Oh
in
yeah,
this
this is no
miniature.
joke.
The actually the move striations, like the weathering, the horizontal weathering,
Yep.
is actually a delight to paint.
Yeah,
I
because you
like
kind of just
doing
go
it.
for it. Like, is
Yeah,
it kind of?
exactly. There's
Yeah.
no, unlike like a space marine or something that requires a lot of precision. The movement weathering on these airplanes is actually just a lot of fun. There,
Yeah.
you do have to plan it a little bit, like so you see,
Yeah. What
behind
major
the
areas are going to
stuff.
pop? Yeah.
Right. Anything that's behind something gets that's where the streak starts. So it's got a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
did
it's
great on that.
thanks. It's a lot of fun. I really like doing these airplanes, and the big one, but if the big one is like painting like one, two, three, four, five, six airplanes all at once,
Yeah.
it's like six of them. Oh, I love the lightning bolts coming out of
Yeah.
the wingman there. That is fantastic.
The did you play with this thing?
Um, Not since it's been repainted because I did it. That's part of my 2020 hobby
But
progress,
you
so I
have
haven't
played
played
with
with it
it
yet.
before, then. Okay.
But I have played with it when it was in um, the other paint scheme. Uh, it used to have an old like frontline gaming
Yeah.
MDF
Gotcha.
carrier underneath. Uh, so this is a Thunderhawk transporter.
I seen
Thunderhawk
those.
transporters are intended to carry things like rhinos
Yep.
into battle on the underside. This one, I've got a couple of Games Workshop cargo containers.
That was the best edition on this thing. I saw that. I was like, no way. I'm like, he's got like a cargo drop. I'm like, that is like the best, orkiest thing.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's fun. So I took those. They're magnetized on the bottom, and I can detach them and drop them. So the red one is full of explosives, and
Yeah.
that one will explode when it hits the ground.
So
The
they
gr-
can soften the landing type, so to speak, soften the
yeah,
target.
yeah, exactly. And then right behind them, there will be a green one that drops orcs on the battlefield. And that one. So the way I work it is, if when I drop it, everybody inside has a chance to like die.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Yeah.
pretty hard landing even for
Yeah.
orcs. So, but if they survive, they jump out and start fighting.
Thanks for joining us all. We were just chit chatting, talking about this awesome model, doing some paint over. I think I'm getting it. I think I get. See, I put that a tinted layer over it, and then I erase some of it. So I just want to see what it looks like when I start forcing a little more light into play. Like that. This is going to make it's a good just compositionally. That's one of the hardest things is like working the composition into so it
Mhm.
really all it's a little more puzzly than if you were starting your own drawing in a way, just a little bit more.
Right. And sometimes it's fun to work with something like a mystery, something that you have to solve, like
Oh,
someone's
absolutely.
made a mistake and you have to fix it or whatever. But sometimes I'd rather just have something that's good from the start.
And that's what I was really it's cool doing these because there's so many people who out there doing this because it's obviously a little, when you get to the painting and all that, it's artistic, so they get to
Yep.
express it, and they'll, the vast majority of people have that interest, so they already have an eye towards it. So a lot of them already
Mhm.
know, hey, I think this angle is really good. And even if they're not, heavy into photography or something, they'll kind of know what, looks good. So it's been a great pleasure with that. I see a lot of like just great photography and cool stuff coming out. So it's been
Mhm.
fun. This thing, the little gunners. Like, where did you, the little gun pod on the front wings, where does that top piece come from?
That is from the same kit that the little airplane is. It comes with a
Oh,
couple of extra pieces, yeah. So, and it doesn't always have to be put on the model, depending on which
yeah.
airplane you build. And then the little back ones, those guys, the those guys come on the Storm Boys kit. There's one piece from the Storm Boys. Storm Boys are like rocket. They're little orcs. They're orcs with rocket packs on
Yeah, oh,
them,
yeah. I know the
and
Storm Boy,
some of them have a grot sticking out of the top of their rocket.
yeah.
And they're so that's where those guys came from. So those guys got turned into gunners on the back wings.
And if anyone watching has any questions or anything, feel free to ask. We're just chit chatting and working away. What is this? What is this thing next to the engine? What is that?
It's just a scrap piece of metal that someone put on there to make it look like a face. It has no purpose whatsoever.
Okay, good. It had that weathering behind it, so I want to put some. I'm almost going to darken some of that. Like, it got weathered because there was like always like some, mini flames or something coming out.
Yeah, that's cool.
I always like the flyers too because it's almost, I enjoyed drawing comic book style stuff too, and it's, you get almost like speed lines.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that cool
Yeah,
effect and get some good things going on.
yeah. Miniatures are kind of like a suggestion of reality
Yeah,
instead. It's not like scale modeling where it's supposed to be an actual representation of reality. It's a suggestion of reality, and you kind of more nuanced. You're trying to evoke the
yeah, good point.
feeling of something instead of actually showing what the thing is.
I would completely agree with that. Yeah, good observation. I didn't really think of it that way, but I totally agree with that.
So, like, for example, a lot of the time on some of these pieces, you'll see someone, just like in comic books, you'll see someone put a dark edge around something that they want to differentiate from one part of the model to the other.
Yeah,
Um, which is kind of like a heavy trace line on a or what do
yeah,
they call it
on a
on
panel or character, whatever. Yeah,
yeah, and it
holding
wouldn't be
line.
there in reality, but you're doing it to make something pop. Okay.
Yeah, and because that's exactly what I try to play into when I'm doing this. It's like I'm not going for real. I'm just going for that.
Hmm.
And it's just like the I try to. I love the old box covers and everything. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I just love you have all the colors and explosions. I was like, this stuff is out of control, crazy. There's like so much going on. So I try to like emulate it with the people's models. A lot of this stuff I try in spots and then I see if I like it and then I just erase stuff I don't and do less or more of the stuff I do.
Having the glow inside the engines is inspired. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, well, I figure especially the orc stuff, you could have
Hmm.
them all like overheating and whatever. So
Hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be having this printed and
right on.
framed. So little
Yeah, I'll make
details
sure.
like that are going to be great.
I know. And that is the thing when you're going big. I try, especially on like the commission ones like this. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, get down to the nitty gritty. So you get you put so much time into all these little details. I want to kind of do my best to make those little sections, pop to life as best I can.
Awesome.
And you have a podcast?
Yes. It's Masters of the Forge. We do. Uh, we are primary focus is narrative gaming.
Oh,
So
nice. That's why I was
there
getting
are.
into Necromunda again because I love the kind of narrative and growing type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff, right? So there are a lot of lore based podcasts out there, and we talk
Yeah.
about the lore, but our primary focus is playing narratively. So part of that is knowing the lore and learning the lore. But we're really interested in how it applies to gaming.
Huh. That's a cool angle.
Yeah, well, it's important, right? Like these days, if you want to have a podcast, you better have your own angle because
I know. I can't imagine, and I never thought of like even doing YouTube. You know what I mean? It wasn't even something. I was
yeah.
just like, what ended up with this was, I'm like, well, I'm drawing it, and if I can draw it, why can't I just stream it? I'm like, just
Hmm.
stream it, and then once I got this software, I ended up having someone on with it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool to talk to the person, and it takes me a while to get used to it because it's still a little difficult for me to speak and draw at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like almost like a little, the processes, you can tell it's draining a little processing power that way in my
Hmm.
mind. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I just got to go do it and practice, and it's been going well for me. I just had, I have fun with it, and I don't, it's not like it's going to be some big thing. I'm like, oh, some people stop by and view, and I get to chit chat with it, and I'm like, why not?
Yeah, I think it's a really neat idea having doing the painting, but also sometimes having a guest on to have a chat. Like it's entertaining. I watched a few of them, and I'm like, this is pretty entertaining. I
Okay, good.
like
Thanks for
this.
the feedback on that because I don't know. I'm like, okay, what are people here for? And when I watched it, and for the first, I don't even know, like I did five, six, seven, eight of them. I didn't even watch them. I'm like, I don't even want to know what I sound like yet. I'm like, just let me get through some, and then I'll face it after. And I listened to
Hmm.
a few, and I've been getting better with them. I'm like, okay, I can dig it, and I see it was entertaining for me. I'm like, okay, the person's hobbying and they're talking about what they got going on, and I'm trying my thing. So I thought it was a decent mix.
Yeah, and there's certain you never know who you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to say something rude or crude or whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
hopefully that would be the only danger, I think. But
That's
other than
I
that,
know.
I
Yeah,
think it's really cool idea to have somebody there so like you can talk about the art you're doing and answer questions, but you can also hold a conversation with someone at the same time. Like at that point you've got a couple things to hold people's interest, while
yeah.
they're hobbying or hanging out or doing
I know.
something.
That's what I kind of figured because there was some of them I started listening to when I would be doing the Paintover. It's like, all right, I can, let me listen to some. So I'd listen to, along with like a podcast or like, sometimes a YouTube video and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I've been getting more. I stare at so many models all day long now. uh,
I'm not sure what it's like on YouTube, but when it comes to like the podcast and stuff, it's just a matter of time, and
oh yeah,
putting in the work over time, and eventually people start noticing. You can, as long as you've got a good angle and you're passionate and you put effort in, people will come, and that's how it works.
how long have you been doing yours?
I think 2014, something
Oh
like that.
really?
Yeah, we have a pretty
Oh,
good
that's right. Because I was at
following.
yours and I was strolling. I was like, I don't know if it was 200 or 150, but like the latest episode I was looking, I'm like, that is a load of podcasts. That's right.
Yeah, it's about 100, and we're gonna launch our 160th episode
Yeah.
this week. And we're pretty proud of it. We're happy with it.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even know that's an accomplishment because that's a lot of work right there.
Hmm. Being a niche, we have this. Yeah, 2014. We're in a niche, but that's okay. You know,
Oh yeah.
people listen. Nobody's gonna be another independent characters. Only the independent characters are the independent characters. So they're great people, and they put out high quality content.
Hmm.
Um, and just I guess any other thing like that. Nobody else is gonna be Saturday Night Live. Only Saturday Night Live
Yeah,
is
very
Saturday
true.
Night Live.
Yeah.
So you find your niche, you put your effort in, and you do the best you can, and then the people who do like it and are interested in it are gonna watch it or listen to it, and that's okay.
I know. I didn't know anything about it. I hopped in. There's a couple people who will join and watch, the stream regularly. I'm like, oh, that's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can interact with a couple of comments. It's like more than I expected.
Yep.
And so you got a whole orc army to go with this, huh?
Yep. Yep. I'm actually pretty far along in the repainting. Actually, it won't be long before it's all finished. Pretty
Oh.
excited. Just
Yeah,
had
because
the
I start
baby.
following you, obviously on Twitter, so that'll be good to see.
Cool.
You're on Twitter. What is your Twitter handle again?
Loopy something something.
Wait, let me look. I have it right here. I know. uh,
I'm an old guy, so
Ditto.
Twitter is fairly new to me, but I like it. I liked.
I get Twitter. I'm not used to Instagram or Facebook at all yet. And they
Yeah.
were making fun of me there. I told Hobby Vices was on and I said, I was like, I don't know how to share on Instagram. I mean, I know what it does on Twitter. It's retweets and it gets there. I'm like a share.
Oh,
What is the
yeah.
share? I'm like, I don't even
Scott,
get it. And he's
for
like, you
real.
are old.
I no, I was having the same conundrum the other day. I
I'm
was
like,
like,
what?
how do you share the stuff on Instagram? I want to share this. And I guess it's like if you like it, it gets popped to the top of the
Yeah, I
like
don't
the
know. And
border.
so that's what okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one because I didn't know what it's doing. I'm like, I don't even get it. So I don't get that one. Twitter, I think it kind of fits my say two sentences. It's like, hey, what's
Mm-hmm.
up? Do you have this? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people say Twitter's a cesspool, but I really haven't noticed it. But I think as long as you curate it really well, your Twitter feed, as long as you pay attention and dump people who are
Yeah. I usually
not
before I follow I just
healthy.
scroll and I'll see if it's mostly photo heavy, I'm good with that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm like I'm mostly here for that. I'm like let me see the good stuff and that and
Yeah,
I'll follow people and I don't, whatever anyone's into, I don't really, care. I'm just check
yeah.
out pics and
One or two political posts here and there, fine.
yeah, I
But
mean
if
as long
it's
as you're not
mostly,
spamming me with a whole, slew of
yeah,
stuff, I'm like okay, fine.
yeah, I'm informed enough where I don't have to worry about my Twitter being an echo chamber. I want it to be an echo chamber of hobby and fun things.
Yeah, I can't believe how the community has just been really cool to me. So I'm like, all right, I really appreciate that.
Nice.
It's been especially the whole COVID thing was going on, and it was just, a good environment and a good thing to have around. It was like some positive interaction,
Mm-hmm. I hope
and there's just so
my son's very excited rummaging through toys downstairs. Isn't
oh,
too
good for
loud for
him.
you.
Live it up, son.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool.
That's what I'm trying to get. Apparently, I'm trying to get back to that now. This is like me trying to relive childhood. get back into all the good stuff.
Yeah, we were late starters. I was born in 1978.
Okay.
So you do the math, and we
Well,
just had our first. He'll be 2 on March.
you have your hands full, sir.
Yeah, we're having fun. Yeah, so that's why it's so nice that my wife is on full duty right now while we do this.
Oh,
So
wow.
I owe her big time. He's actually really good. He's a lot of people say how lucky we are.
I could imagine because some it's just they're more like the more restless spirits or whatever. You know what I mean? Different kids are a little different at that
Hmm.
age.
Yep, he's got a lot of energy, but he also does really good playing with himself. Playing alone
Okay. Yeah. Keep.
is he can do it really well, which is good for when we're working.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
both work at home, and he
That's
comes to
one
us every
thing
once.
I was thinking about. Like, yeah, the people working from home and you have kids and maybe you haven't had to work from home before and like that's a whole other set of ball game with that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Keeping it real though, unless something changes with him drastically, I would much rather be at home working than at work working.
Mm-hmm.
Because to keeping it 100, he actually is way less of a distraction to my work than my managers are.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration.
No, that's awesome.
For
At
real.
least your eye is still on the prize. You got just like eye on the prize. Like, no, the kid, yeah, I can handle that, but the miniatures are just a little calling.
Yeah.
That's funny. Uh,
They're way less engaged during COVID. So that's the best. I get all kinds of work done.
ah.
And if they do call a meeting, well, then it's time to break out the paints.
Yeah. Okay, so and you're I'm not I don't need to know what type of job, but
No?
do you have Zoom meetings type deals?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But we're unlike some people require, some places require that you be on video. We're
Gotcha.
not we're not required to be on video.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering what the
Yeah. A few times people might have heard paint swishing in the background as I forget that I'm on audio talking while I'm
Yeah,
painting.
that's funny. And
What's that?
you you would prefer working from home in your circumstance, you think, generally speaking, if given
Absolutely.
the option?
Unless my kid gets way worse to handle,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I get so much done because I'm a computer programmer, so well, I'm a
Okay.
web programmer, so there's literally nothing I need to be in the office
Good.
for.
Well, I'm glad it kind of works out in that regard. It's like
Uh,
you get something decent out of all of it. It's like, okay, at least I'm adjusted
yeah,
to working at home type deal.
yeah. I mean, I am never going to say, this is a good situation because so many
No,
people
no,
are
no, no.
suffering.
I know that's what I
But
mean. No, it's like, but it's like, okay, you got to make the best of a bad situation type deal.
yes, one thing I would say is he's not getting enough interaction with peers.
Yeah, and I'm not getting enough interaction with peers. For real, that's why I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm like, I get some interaction. Martin the Great Potato Mage. Yeah, my wife's place does camera off meetings, so she's been cross stitching a giant calendar thing. It is
That's
good for
awesome.
that though, because you can't cross stitch in the meeting at work.
No, that's awesome. That's great. But yeah, I am worried that he's gonna have issues with like sharing and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I don't know about. I know because that's and for a kid, it's such a huge section of their life.
Yeah, but it's 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 worth it for safety of grandma and grandpa and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they're all. It's like, hey, gotta. It is
If
what
I
it is. So
if I have to behavior correct later, that's fine. So I guess that's my job, right?
I've got stuff. Oh, this is fun.
He's great though. We want another one.
Yeah,
We're
good for
thinking about
you.
it.
And it's going good then because you're still getting some hobbying done. So hey,
Yeah. Anybody who might listen to this or hear this, there's a book. It's called Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child. It is the greatest thing that ever happened. That book
really,
will.
okay, interesting.
Yep, we got him at 3 months. 3 months, he was sleeping between 7 p.m. and 5 p.m. and then sorry, 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. and then he was sleeping from like 9 to 12,
Oh wow.
and then he was sleeping from like no, it was 8 to 11 and then 2 to 5.
Okay.
Now he's still, even to this day, 2 years old, he is sleeping from around 7:30, 8 o'clock until 6:30, and then he's still sleeping anywhere between 12 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. depending.
Yeah.
He'll have between a 3 hour and a 1 hour nap every day still, and
Huh.
it's all due to the just like reading this book and taking the suggestions to heart.
Huh. Good for you then. Martin the Potato Mage. A lot of other parents are in the same boat, and people are kind of wise to the fact that those issues will come up, so they are prepping for it all. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh wait,
I
wait. Let's see. Say he said that's kind of a worry I have too. So he was talking about kids. So that's kind of
uh
the worry I have too. But then my kid is also a dual language kindergarten, and we don't speak German at home. So, but the staff are going to do stuff with all that. Gosh, that is like I
yeah,
don't have any kids to worry about with right now, but it's that's the ones where I mean, obviously you're worried about seniors, you know, with getting it and everything, but it's also what is it? What's going on with the kids and what they're doing? So hopefully it gets sorted sooner rather than later, somewhat.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, every, anybody who's high risk obviously needs top priority. But um, when we're talking about the greatest good to society, getting those teachers vaccinated should be
Get them
also a
out
top.
there and
Get those
yeah.
kids to school. That'll be good for our, for the society in general. Because you know what, I do have this little kid, and that makes it. I think that makes it way easier. All these folks with multiple kids in school.
Oh, see,
I,
that's
I
what. Yeah, even like 6 years old, 8 years old, all through there. That must be like even crazy, all the way to early teens. I mean, even teenagers are what they are, but
Yep, exactly.
I just think that that age around, two one, they kind of don't. You might be young enough, like a little older, they start. Where's my friends and their routine, and a year to them seems like 5 years.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that having to wait for my birthday. One of the things
Yeah,
my dad used to say,
that
waiting
was the
for my.
biggest thing. It would seem like the school year was just forever. Now it's like a year. It's just like, phoop. It's like, oh my gosh, wait, where the summer's gone? It's like, oh wait, summer's all gone. Now it's fall. What's going on?
One time I said to my dad, I wish it was my birthday already. I can't stand waiting for it. And he says, if your birthday were here already, you would miss that whole month. And
Yeah,
I'm like, why do I care about a month? I'm like, I'll take an extra. These days, I'm
yeah,
like, I'll take an extra month. Give me an
yeah.
extra month.
Seriously, and that's what with this too. I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm literally, I better start having fun and like try to push it all while I can. It's like I'm not getting any younger.
Hmm?
Only here once.
That's right.
Theoretically, whatever. You're only here once. Might as well do some paintovers and check out some great minis.
Yep. Yeah, I lament the years I played so much World of Warcraft. I could have been painting more miniatures.
God, I never. Okay, well, I played World of Warcraft a little, but nothing nearly. I think so. I did some EverQuest, nothing ever huge, but I did EverQuest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think around then, it's not like I stopped playing video games, but I think around then I ended up getting some more consoles, and I did a lot of like first person shooters or whatever after that. I
Mm-hmm.
love them now, and I always loved the big like RPGs and stuff. And now I just do not have any like the patience for it or anything. I guess it's wild to me.
Yeah, lately this year I've been kind of playing some turn-based stuff. Like there's a game
Yeah.
called Kingmaker. It's based off of Pathfinder Kingmaker
Okay, I
campaign.
heard it, and I love turn-based combat. You know, it's probably the same because like I like 40K XComs, things like that. You know.
And I'm old. And my
Yeah.
reaction, I tried playing a real-time strategy game the other day, and I'm like, yeah, this is not something I can do right now. But yeah, I've been kind of sucked into that a little bit. But that's what I tell people. Like, why, if they have trouble getting painting done, I'm like, well, how many hours a week do you spend on video games?
Yeah.
How many hours a week do you spend on movies? Which you want to watch movies and stuff, but
Oh
try
yeah.
to pull the needle out a little bit and get some painting done instead.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, for me now, I spend a lot of time doing it. Like, I'll get so maybe I watch a show in the evening. Sometimes, some evenings, it'll be, maybe I'll erase around some of the pictures while I watch a show. But like most time, if I'm serious drawing, I probably don't even end up having any TV on. Maybe I'll have a podcast or something. But in the evening, sometimes I'll do that and watch something. But I'm usually doing, I'll be laying in bed with my iPad, be like, okay, let me just erase some of this and I'll watch something. Like, so I'm pretty much like constantly doing something with the
Hmm.
little artist empire. No one told the empire about logistics with all the stuff you have to do. Like just when I YouTube and you're like, okay, hook up the phone and hook up your iPad and hook up your laptop to plug into YouTube and invite the guest. And, it's just all those little things all add up for time. But I'm having a blast.
Over here using the color picker in my browser, trying to find the right colors for this dog.
Do you have like any type of art background or anything?
No official training. I was definitely artistic in school.
Okay, yeah,
Um, my I have I come from a family of artists and engineers, which
it's a good
web
mix.
development is a good both web development and Warhammer miniature wargaming makes a lot of sense. Um,
Absolutely.
my grandmother in the 1920s actually went to school in Chicago for art,
Okay.
which
Oh
is
yeah.
especially for a family that isn't rich, that's
No, no. In
something.
Chicago, then that was all like because they had some
you know
great architecture and stuff over there
Mhm.
too, and their art training was always really good.
Absolutely. She was from middle of nowhere, Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
and but she still managed to get into college in Chicago. And unfortunately, she had to return home during the Depression to help take care of the family. But
Oh
she
wow.
always was artistic. She always was painting, latch hooking,
Mm-hmm.
knitting. She made some really unbelievable rugs and painting. I have
Okay.
some of her paintings in my house. Um, so there's a big art background on that side. On my father's side, there's a whole lot of technology going all the way back to the early 20th century. Uh, Eric, or what's his name? Charles Fassel, my
Oh, not familiar
great
with that one.
he did he was a watchmaker and a clockmaker, and
Okay.
he held patents. So I guess the computers of old, if you
Yeah.
um and progressing on, my father was a database administrator back, before most people knew what a database was,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, it's just from both sides of the family.
Yeah, no, that's a good mix because you like engineering stuff teaches you a lot of practical and building and all that kind of good stuff.
Hmm. Right. Let's see if we can find just the right brown here. I may have to mix something.
What are you gonna make or thinking about making?
I'll mix. I may
Oh,
have to mix a.
mix. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Ooh, rat skin flesh.
I love the names of the paints for miniatures and stuff are so good.
A bunch of my friends are wondering, why are you sending your model away to be repainted? It looks so good.
Not that way.
Like, no, I just have to fan my ego.
Oh no, this these I think they're worth it. People, Jason Mitchell joined and said hello.
Oh yeah,
Jason,
that's
thanks
my
for
good
making
friend.
it.
He's my co-host.
Oh, right on. Okay,
He's in Texas.
is he?
We're lucky he has internet.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got beat up for a while there.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about sending him groceries.
Yeah.
Jason, you want some cookies? I'll send you some more cookies. My family owns a bakery.
That's you don't even get me started. Part of me wants to quit it all and just make bread. I would just make bread and I would make like probably two different types of bread and then just die of what gluten overdose or whatever you would get from eating too much
Diabetes.
bread. Yeah, because seriously, I was like, man, I maybe I should have been a baker.
Yeah. There's a beautiful um, article. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called "In Defense of Mediocrity."
I've heard it, never seen it, but I definitely heard of that. Yes.
Right. So if you love making bread, there's nothing wrong with just loving making bread.
Yeah.
You don't have to make money off it. You can just love it. It's okay.
No, I love me some bread.
This is the perfect color. Unfortunately, it's mostly solid.
He said the chocolate chip cookies were amazing.
Oh, good. Wait, there weren't any chocolate chips in there.
All I know is I talked to some of these people on here and everyone's friends, you're sending him cookies. Other people are always like, oh yeah, my buddy got me this model and it'll be like some $50 model. And I hear all this talk. Someone, Daz Dillinger, I never even like knew the person. I ended up doing their paint over. He models and sculpts these three miniatures and sends them all the way over here, pays for it, sends them over here, and we never met each other or talked. I'm like, I need new friends. My friends aren't giving me painted miniatures or sending me cookies or anything. And that's all I learned from this is that I need better friends.
No, no. Here's the thing. It's a curse. It's as much of a curse as it is a boon, because once someone breaks that seal, everybody else has to start one-upping them.
Oh,
It gets to the point where just the mail is just full of presents and everybody's divorced. So yeah, it's not good.
Martin says, "Yep, stop monetizing everything you love, otherwise you'll never have any time off work."
Yeah.
Paintovers are fine though.
Yeah, keep doing that. We're not talking about that. um yeah, what was I gonna say? We'll just add some more ums to the recording, right?
Good. I caught myself on. I did a solo live stream. I'm like, oh, let me practice, talking about my process some. I'm like, how am I gonna? So I was like, I'll do one yesterday and I'll talk about it. And my first curse was like. I was saying like every other word on my first stream, and I was, oh gosh, I gotta fix that. And then yesterday I caught a whole bunch of so's at the beginning. I was like, so, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you gotta work on editing that one down.
Mm-hmm. Mine's because
You
I'm
know.
the thing is you're filling in the time. You're afraid to have dead air, and that's not just when you're recording something, but in life too. If you're talking to
Yeah.
somebody, you're for some reason your lizard brain is afraid to have them break in on your train of thought and try to fill in the emptiness that way. It's weird. People are weird. Brains are weird.
Yes, they are.
Awkward silent. No.
No, we're allowed. So these I find these. It's been good for me because it's weird. I've like not like big public speaking, but I mean I've even like taught before and like talked in
Uh-huh.
front of groups and never had problems. I think it was when I was like, okay, you're being recorded and it's forever and it's going on the net and if you any word and so that would get in my head.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, just practice, and it helped having, because with talking with you, it's just a normal conversation. It's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
so that's been a good thing for me.
Yeah, and no matter how you do it, like I said, we've been doing it since 2014. I'm
Yeah,
still
that's
kind of
amazing.
terrible with it. So it just happens. It's fine. No one's paying us $100,000 a year to
Yeah, that's
do
what I
it.
mean. I'm like, oh, okay, I have like 5 viewers. I'll be okay.
Yep. Why did I put my glasses back on? I'm getting to that age where I have to take my glasses off to do half the stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting to the glasses point. I think I've dodged it so far, but
Yeah, I think it's partially because I've been using kids these days are getting glasses earlier and earlier, and I think I was
yeah.
one of the early kids to have, because I've been using computers since I
Hmm.
was very young, and I've always needed glasses. I just didn't know it yet until I went to take my driver's test. I went to get my eyes checked for when I was 18 to get my learner's permit, and they're like, "You're supposed to be able to read that." And I said, "Really?"
Oh boy.
That's a surprise to me.
Martin says, uh, yeah, filling dead air is a skill. And the more time you spend talking utter rubbish on a forever format recording like streams or videos or actual broadcast TV or radio, the better you get at it. Yeah, very true. It's just like the doing all these paint overs. You do a few hundred of them in less than a year and you'll get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
So much bigger than when I got into it in the 80s and stuff. I just can't believe what the just community and company and miniature painting in general and all that stuff turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything was so super small and niche back then.
And it's hard to say whether it's more people do it, or if the
More
internet
hear
has
about
made
it.
us, yeah, the internet has made it easy for us to connect with each other, which is nice.
Yep.
There are awful people out there, but there are awful people everywhere. So
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Don't know what I'm doing yet. All that stuff may be gone. I'm just adding it to see. Something about
you sound like me when I was building this. Stick that on. Does that look good? Rip
yeah,
it
and
off.
especially like the ones I do for free, I'm more like, okay, just go and I pick something. It's like, okay, commission. I want to, there's a certain level. I'm like, all right, let's like really, think about composition and what's going to really make stuff pop. And I go a little kind of slower at it. It's a lot of trial and error.
Fair. And it's definitely going to be on my wall too. So
Yeah, no. So I mean, no pressure, no pressure. I'm just
no
watching you.
pressure.
It's going on my wall, so do not screw this up.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
That was the other thing. I'm like, oh gosh, you're gonna go live stream and like, what happens when you bomb? It's like I've done crummy art before. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be on live stream, like doing someone's paint over and making a crappy version. I'm like, how's that gonna go over? I did the first live stream I did. Oh, it was the worst paint over I ever did. It just turned out to like this all monotone, like red and like. But I learned. I was like, okay, I
Mhm.
didn't. It kept disconnecting too, so I'd have to reconnect, and that was just killing me.
Mhm. Every time someone says, "Oh, I started listening to your podcast from episode 1." "Oh, really? How long have you been listening?" "Oh, for a couple of months." I'm like, "Wait, you started at episode 1?" "No.
No, don't listen
I
to
need
that.
to
I know.
take those down."
I'll be erasing some of them. Like, all right, take these off.
Oh my goodness.
Something about that's cool. I don't know what. All right, where are we? Seven concurrent viewers. Thanks for joining us all.
Thanks for joining us.
I
It's
don't
looking
know
pretty
yet
great so
how.
far.
What were you saying?
Looking pretty great so far, buddy.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't have in my mind how I'm going to do the background. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I kind of visualize, some of it. And I'm like, okay, how about this or light in the background? Because I have to get that point, and then I can kind of finish wrapping all the lighting and stuff. It's like I
Right.
try to work the things up like together, do some little details, do some little background, do some little foreground, do a little lighting,
Mhm.
and then I keep working up like the whole thing together. And right now I'm just kind of like, okay, well, how do I approach the background? So I want something cool, and I have some ideas, but I can't get the lighting around my head. If I have light in front in the sky, so if I put light, let me see, if I go right here, kills it because you have such a bright tip on the Thunderhawk that I want it to pop. So I don't want another light source.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure out maybe like
I'm wondering if now I don't want to mess with your
no.
creative
What's
process.
your thought?
You don't even need a skyline.
Well, no, technically I don't. I could go. They could be looking down for all that matters.
Like the big one could be pulling up from a bombing run, and that little one could actually be level with the ground.
Yeah. So you mean he's more like parallel, like to the ground, looking down basically.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you might not even need any sky. It could just be a freaking war zone down there.
Huh. So I might be able to put some poking through. So that was the other thing. So I have a lot, and I put a lot of sparks and stuff on here, and a lot of that stuff may go. So a lot
Mhm.
of it I put on because then I do the edit phase.
Mhm.
And what I want to do, I thought. what you just brought up, I kind of thought about earlier. I did some, and I indicated some ground before,
Mm-hmm.
and what I want to do is be careful, because a lot of times if you start seeing too much ground, it starts competing with the machine. So I
Right.
like that idea, and I'm going to go with it, because right now it's, the sky's way, you can't have a sky like that. It's too clean, like it's not in the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to put something kind of down there and just start to get that plane filled in. So I'm going to try. I think I got a little bit of an idea now,
Yeah.
and that's a good.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can
No,
always.
that's what you got to do. I mean, that's what a lot of this is. It's like, okay, trial and error. I just know it'll look cool by the time I get it done.
And I bet, again, not when you go to finish it, not having me here, having me not here is probably a
Well,
good thing too.
there's a lot of times what I do is I'll get it probably halfway through finished tonight, and then
Mhm.
when I look at it with fresh eyes, you know what I mean? I go in the morning, it's like, oh, okay, like that's where, just do that and put that in. And that's why on like the commission pieces, I often, I spend more time, because some things just click later.
Mhm. Man, that Rogel Dorn, holy moly!
Oh, you saw the Dorn one?
I was here for that one. That was crazy.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was here for a little bit of the Stormtrooper one.
I have tomorrow is, oh, who's coming in tomorrow? Lonely Havoc.
Mm.
So I'm going to have him on tomorrow. I'm going to work on some of his stuff. Oh, this is interesting. What is this?
And I hear what you're saying. Like I was wondering if you would do like a bomb explosion down there, but I can see how that might just totally wreck the composition.
And I might try some stuff. Like I'm gonna, like, maybe behind, because I have the jet exhaust behind both of them. So there's a lot of, like, that's why one of the first things I do is spot the flames and stuff, because
Mhm.
those are like the light balls, and it's like, okay, where can I put more? And so there might be something up over here. I might kind of put some explosions or something. So there's going to be some more. I just have to figure out what kind of overall feeling I'm going to go for. And sometimes I just throw stuff down and move it around, and then it, like, triggers, like, oh, okay, I got something out of it.
Right, right. Like you did a thing. It might not work in this exact spot, but you can just move it.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so I already like something like that. So I know I got a little something going on that I like.
Using the electricity bolts was really inspired. I think that's neat for the.
I think it adds to it. It separates them and adds a different, like, texture and light.
Yeah, like this guy is definitely different from other airplanes. He shoots freaking lightning bolts. Fantastic.
Martin says, never be ashamed of your earlier works. Yeah, that's probably something I have to get used to too, which, it is what it is. That's the good thing about getting old. I just worry about so much less. Like, I don't have time to worry about, like, if my video was stupid. Um, just maybe make sure some of them are very hard to find. 8 people. Thank you very much for stopping in. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. Or if, I don't know, there's any audio trouble or something, let us know. I'm glad you could make it. That was cool. And I didn't know, I don't, a lot of this I didn't think about, but it was fun for me that some people like want the one I was working on yesterday. When I finish it up, he's gonna come on and stuff. So it was fun for me that people would want to come on and talk about it, and I'm like, oh, well, you spend so much work, how could you not? And there's like detail and story to it and everything. So I mean, of course they're gonna want to talk about it, but I guess I didn't think about
Right.
that.
And it's nice to do something like this because so often you see people like say things like, "Oh well, they don't do um like Games Workshop artists don't do it only takes them a little. It must not take them very long to do this work. Why don't they? Why didn't
Yeah.
they just do more of this art for this book or whatever?" And it's good to see somebody actually put the work in, and you can actually see how much effort goes into creating this art.
Oh yeah, and like those GWs too. It's like it's not you're starting it all from scratch, and yeah, I mean it takes time with all that. It's I guess, and if people aren't familiar with art, they don't know how much goes into it. How much you're taking out or going in or thinking about it or, and to me like the GW art is some of like the best stuff in the world. As far as aesthetic and gaming and just what I like. I'm
Mhm.
like I love that stuff.
Yep. And just because it's done on a computer doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah, there's
Doesn't
no
mean
there's no magic button. There's a few that help, but there's no magic one.
no. And I've seen some interviews with some of the people that do the work that for the codexes and the
Yeah,
army books, and it's just there's really talented people out there. They do great work.
I know it's so cool that this hobby turned into all this. There's a lot of people, just online doing everything, and now with the whole online explosion, it does give a lot of little people like me a chance, to get some stuff out there and be heard where
Hmm.
you wouldn't normally do it. You can. There's a lot of different routes to get your work out there.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. And some people, even if someone never ends up on a radar, at least it's you're not screaming into the void. There are
No.
people who are very much interested in what you're doing,
Yeah,
and
they are, and it's. I was like, oh, who's going to be interested in my stuff? And I was like, am I tweeting out too many pictures? But then I laugh because I'm looking at people who are tweeting way more than me and loving all their pictures. Like, oh, this is cool. This it doesn't even dawn on me. Like, I don't even think, are they tweeting too much? Or I'm just flipping through looking at cool stuff, and I'm like, why? I'm like, why am I
exactly.
overthinking what they? You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yep.
just go with it, and
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't. I don't think there's. Maybe there is such a thing as too much, but I don't know if I don't know how much is too much because if somebody likes it, they will follow you and they will enjoy
yep,
as whatever content you put out. And if somebody doesn't like it, they just won't follow it, and
yep.
that's
No,
fine.
and that's kind of what I learned too. I had some people. I'm like, wow, they're consistently they've been liking stuff for like months from me. I'm like, that's kind of incredible to me that someone would, I guess, take that time and click that like button all the time and do it over like months span. It's just like, okay,
Hmm.
that's really, it's humbling. It's like, okay, thank you very much.
And it, yes, yeah, and it's not. It's the good brain chemicals. Gotta love
Yeah,
those good
yeah.
brain chemicals.
All right, we're gonna get there. We're getting there. Martin says Karl Kopinski is an artist that GW hire very frequently and is super prolific and does stuff for Wizard of the Coast as well. And you will still only see maybe 5-10 pieces a year. Yeah. People just don't get how much work goes into everything, but also understand it's too much work for them to do. It's weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like I was talking to I think it was Brush Wizard. We were just talking about commissions, and someone had asked him about the mini, and I forget what the price was, but to me, very reasonable. And he was saying like the person's kind of half shocked or whatever, and because they don't really add up how many hours. Like a mini is no
Yeah.
joke to do even a decent standard paint job. To me, that takes time. You got to paint it and get. It's
Yep.
like, okay, what do you want someone for, like, $2 an hour? It's not realistic.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's supply and demand only takes you so far. Sometimes the demand, well, how much you're willing to pay, isn't going to be the same as what it's worth time wise. And if you're
Yeah.
not
Oh,
willing to
absolutely.
pay it, well then don't buy it. There's
And
not there's
and that's like when I was working on with these. That's one of the things when I was doing the free ones. It's like, okay, you got to go fast, and you got to train yourself to, like, if I'm commissioning some of these out for like $80, I can't spend 8-10 hours a day. And I was spending over a couple days on them. And I still do
no.
longer. I kind of schedule them and be like, okay, give me. I know my process has been refined, so I make better use of the time generally now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they take a while.
Yeah.
I do like the format of having someone hobbying too on this thing. It's fun. It's like
Yeah, I
something else
should
to see.
probably.
And I have a closer camera. I don't know if you want like a third of the. Hang on, I'm going to zoom you in. Watch this. Hang on.
Okay.
We're going to give you a split screen. There you go.
Here he is so far.
Oh, that is cool. That meme got 3D printed.
Yeah, I have a 3D printer, and someone wanted one of these, one of my buddies from work, so I'm painting. He said, "How much would it cost to get the paints to do that?" And I said, "Don't. No,
Oh, see.
there's.
Okay,
It would
wait.
cost way too much in paints if you were just going to buy the paints and try to do it yourself.
Do
Let
you
me
want me to
just do
put
it.
the camera back, or are you fine here? I can put it the other way.
Oh no,
Up
it's
to you.
fine. It's fine."
Okay.
But yeah, he's like, "How much would the paints cost?" I said, "Way too much. Just let me paint it for you."
This is fine. Yep, Mark.
This is
Yep.
fine.
This is fine. This is
Yep.
fine.
This month has been a lot of 3D printing and painting stuff that was 3D printed. I did I found a Bernie Sanders meme
Yep.
for like $4. So I bought that and I 3D printed a bunch of those, and I did a charity for the same charity that Bernie used when
Yep.
when he made the t-shirts. What was it? The Vermont Meals on Wheels.
I
Printed a
don't
bunch of
know.
those up, and I painted some. That was fun.
Well, it seems like you're pretty productive with all that stuff. That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's good fun. I did commission work for a little while, but it just wasn't for me.
No, no, it's a
I couldn't.
grind like anything else.
Yep, I couldn't use my time. If I was faster, I'm sure there are people who it's worth it to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I see some people that's like, okay, they have a good. You have to on the because if you're doing it commercially, there's a certain level of just speed that you need. Now I'm just trying out some explosions that'll probably never make it in.
Yeah, those look cool though.
I know. So I might diffuse them and put them down and all the kind of stuff. So I'm like something
Mhm.
I kind of like about them. So I just let them sit for a while, and then it might inspire where they might go later. Or
They look like flak explosions, which would
yeah, and
make
I would put smoke and stuff around them so it get darker, in those spots, and
Mhm.
do some of that. I'm just
It's think that green is working too. It
See,
looks
that's
good.
what I thought. I'm like, I think the green kind of works because I'm like, okay, it is kind of orky, and I'll make sure I don't get too green with it. I'll mute it some more, but I think I like
Mm.
it.
Especially if you're going with orange for the
Yeah.
wash and the explosions. I think that works really
And
well.
that's kind of why I tend with some of these, I tend to desaturate the background more now because I've learned it if you have like this has nice saturated colors on the orc vehicle, so a desaturated background really adds to that, that contrast.
And you know, I bet the background is going to be. I assume a lot of the if you try to put too much detail in the background, you're going to end up doing your entire
Yes.
painting.
I just call it a
Instead,
clown show. Is when I go too far, I have a full clown show. I'm like, oh, I went clown show. There's like everything's sparking and stuff's too much and background's pushing with the foreground, and it's like, oh, I've done it.
this is definitely one I'm going to have to go halfway myself and put it down. There's a lot of smooth edges, and that always freaks me out.
Yeah.
This is actually harder than doing a regular miniature.
Oh, so okay, wait. But I love. Here's the other thing. Your shirt. You use it the paint on the shirt.
Yeah, I have a bunch
Okay,
of these.
so
I,
here's the thing. I was thinking of doing merchandise before. I was like, wait, I'm going to design a shirt that is all paint splotches so someone could wipe their brush on the shirt. And so I love when I saw your shirt, I was like, okay, wait. I'm like, and I was like, is that the dumbest idea ever? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's a good idea. I'm like, because someone would have a paint shirt. And it was so funny. And I see your shirt when we zoomed in. I'm like, oh, there is someone out there who
well, and yeah,
wiped
you
your
can use this shirt to see a
Yeah.
right-handed person where the paint's going to be, and you can put the logo where the paint
Yeah. No, you're right because you push it right. That's hilarious. Yeah,
looks like.
because
The
are you
left,
right-handed? You're
I'm
lefty,
right-handed. So
so
the left breast is where you want to put your logo. I
yeah.
think.
That legit helps. That's so funny. Oh gosh. Okay, I do like this YouTube stuff. Funny different conversations and little things that pop up because I was thinking of that shirt. I'm like, man, I'm like, why wouldn't they just wipe it sometimes on your shirt? I get it, but like to me, I'm like, it's paint, it's whatever. You'll wash the shirt and
I have a few of these. Unfortunately, with COVID, I've been wearing it a lot. Like all my paint shirts, I've been wearing them a lot. The
yeah,
problem with that is all my paint shirts are like 4X, 3X.
yeah, yeah.
So they're very comfortable. And when I go to put something else on, I'm like, whoa,
Like I do not like
oh,
this.
oh, what happened?
Where's my comfy stuff?
What happened to that 15 pounds, man? Oof.
Jason Mitchell says this is premium Masters of the Forge content.
Thank you, Jason. Jason, are you recording it for future use on Jason is a sound doctor. He
Oh, really?
literally a doctor of sound, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
that's a good skill. That's a unique skill set in a way.
He's a doctorate in sound engineering, I think, or
Doctor
something like that.
Sound. Yeah,
Doctor.
that's a serious. Yeah, you need a serious education for that.
Yep.
Martin says it's a darn good thing I haven't painted canvases anytime recently because that's the right thigh of my jeans. Yeah, the jeans. So I did jeans before. Jeans gets the full Bob Ross whacking the paint out of his brush treatment. Absolutely.
Ooh, just like what's his name? Oh, what's his name from PBS?
Yeah, Bob Ross. That's what he was. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
Bob Ross. Yep.
You know, that guy was good. He was a good painter. I like it.
Yep. Duncan Rhodes is the miniature is the Bob Ross of miniature painting.
Okay.
Pretty good, yeah. He's got that the voice
Yep.
and the can do attitude.
Okay, what am I going to do here? I'm going to select and invert.
Whew.
I still, and someone's going to, Richard Barrel. Hey, thanks for making it, and thanks for the interaction on Twitter a lot, Richard. I see you often liking and retweeting and stuff, so thank you very much. Been following on Twitter for a while. First live stream I'll be able to catch. Thank you very much for joining.
Cool.
I'll try to make it decent.
What? Pick somebody
No
else.
guarantees. I'm never like no guarantees on any of this. Oh, I dig it though. It's gonna take me a while to work through some things, but yeah.
You know, every stream will get better until it doesn't. Until you have
Yeah.
one that's really bad, and then you have a nice one. Like just the other, like a few episodes ago, my soundboard cut out partway through it, and the whole most of the recording was done through my Mac's microphone instead.
Yeah.
It was brutal. Even if you have a doctor of sound there, you're not gonna work through that one. It's just gonna sound terrible. So you have a tablet that you use to draw on?
So yes, I am using an iPad Pro on this one, and I got addicted to the Procreate art program. I used to work on a Cintiq where I could draw on the screen, and I had it mobile. So I even had one that's a full PC, but it's still like 3 or 4 pounds. And I was always working at the desk, and I literally that one time I forget what happened, and it went down, and I needed maintenance, and I was actually on a project, and I needed something I could draw on, and I saw people talking about how easy it was on iPad with Procreate, and I was like, I bet you I can load it up, and I know it's just a pen tool. All I needed to do was literally draw. And
Mm-hmm.
so I rushed out to buy an iPad just because I had to finish a project that was worth more than the iPad. And I started drawing on it, and it was so light. My drawing output went way up because I'd be like on the couch, I'd be like, oh, I just hold it in one arm like a pad of paper and draw. And then I found myself drawing in bed, and then I wasn't like tied to my desk with a computer all the time that's kind of heavy. So, and then I don't know, when the whole pandemic kind of started, I bought this huge, like, it's almost like a lazy boy, but I love it because I can shift side to side. Like, I'm constantly moving. Like, I'm not sitting in like a normal. I'm like, okay, I'll lean a little more to my right and on my hip and bring my legs up, and then I'll shift back. So I just do that a lot, and it's just, I guess, more natural to me than sitting at a desk chair the whole time.
Yeah. Cool. You say it's about comparable to holding a palette?
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe just a hair heavier, but basically same principle. And I have it all set up now where a lot of times like my legs are kind of up, so I just have the tablet on my thigh, and then I'm just drawing on it there, and I got all these like
Mm-hmm.
just weird drawing positions. But it 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 works for me because I'm always using it. I'm like, oh, I'll just sit right here and draw, and sometimes I'll go into a living room and draw or whatever. So it's definitely good for my, and it's a smooth running device. All right, so Richard says, you guys are doing great. Talk hobby with Loopy often, and nice to see the process of your paintovers. Appreciate that, Richard. It's been fun. I've had a lot of fun talking with the people, and everyone brings their own little perspective and life things and what they're into, whether it's the modeling or painting or whatever aspects. We got your friend Jason
Mm-hmm.
here doing sound for the podcasts and everything. It's just it gets a lot of different skill sets together, I think, into one umbrella.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Everybody's got the cool thing about a hobby talk that right, like there's probably some kind of overlap in people's skill sets, but um, if you're not talking about someone's career, that you can always talk about um, whatever else they're interested
Oh
in.
yeah,
You're going to have a wide range of different people from
yeah.
different
Because I have no
all
problems.
kinds of different social strata and
Yep.
everything. Pretty cool.
It makes it interesting. I'm just waiting for spring to finally get here so I can start getting out some. I like winter and I don't mind it, but when it starts to, kind of drag on and you get the just cold and wet and snow's melting and, all that
Mhm.
stuff, it's like, okay, let me,
Mhm.
let me get outdoors some and enjoy it. It was sunny here today.
Yeah, it was pretty nice here today. Even though we've had like 20s and stuff like that, my porch is glassed in, so it gets to like 85 on the porch
Oh, wow.
even when
Oh,
it's
Goblin Grotto just joined in. Goblin Grotto, I was trying Void Shield, so I'll put yours up. I was trying. I don't know if they're called void shields on these, but I was trying to do the shield blast on this one, so that's what I was working
yes.
on at like 11 o'clock last night.
Those are definitely void shields.
Yeah, so I'll show you since you stopped by on that one. I'll do a quick for anyone who didn't see yesterday. I'll do a little quick time lapse of this one. That'll actually give me a minute. I'm gonna be gone for just like a minute. I'm gonna mute the mic and then I will be back.
Well,
I'll let this time lapse. Let me center it over here.
that looks so cool.
Thanks. I put it on the orange because then when I erase, I can see the edges better.
Right. I watched this earlier on Twitter.
There. Capo Ken, thanks. Just sitting here listening, painting, and chilling. What are you painting, Capo Kim? Capo Ken. That's the one thing I have to get used to, like reading. I don't read out loud to people or anything, so that I'm seeing it here and when I'm pronouncing in my head, it's just I don't like some of those words like the name. I wouldn't fully pronounce it. I would just like
Mhm.
my mind would take it in, but now I'm like pronouncing it. Jason Mitchell, the void shields are sweet, sweet. Thank you very much, Jason.
My reading out loud skills have improved a great deal over the past couple of years.
I was literally going to start on some of the episodes just read. I had old white dwarfs, right? And
Mhm.
I the one I have by my feet is what is it, 155. I gotta get some of the other out, but it was the Gene Stealers, and it talks about in here they were kind of linked to chaos. So when they would first start, it would kind of, when they got in with the people on the planets and everything, they kind of used their in, and then they were tied with chaos. So it was like kind of the whole Gene Stealers were tied with chaos in an interesting way in the beginning.
Yeah, they like the gene stealer cults will latch on any way they can. So if chaos has a presence, it's just this underworld force, right?
Yeah,
That's they can kind of spread through the chaos cult.
yeah, they're
But
joint and like yeah, they're following the same whatever path or something. But it was
right,
interesting. And I was like, oh, I have to start reading some just to sound how my voice sounds and everything, you know.
Well, I can tell you all about uh, uh, the little blue truck and Katie the steam engine and all that. In fact, little blue truck is right behind. Oop, there he is. Little photography booth from his first birthday.
Yeah. Goblin. Oh, Martin says I can't wait for my Tiny Titans to turn up. Oh yeah, You ordered quite a few too, Martin, didn't you? Goblin Grotto says Void Shields look awesome, dude. Very much like what you've done. Would Instagram be the best way to contact you? I see. I'm so bad at that too. I got to get my website all set up. I don't even have my email out there for anyone to reach me, and I'm like, oh gosh, like how amateurish is that? Um, for right now, yes, Goblin Grotto. It's either Twitter is a great way. That's probably like my best way, and then Instagram, Facebook. I check them all every day, and I'm gonna get a second email that I kind of just always put out there, and then people can contact me that way. But any of those platforms, I check them all the time until I get something more formal on the website.
Yeah, I did an old guy thing the other day when I was contacting you about the commission. There was
Mm-hmm.
an email on the screen. I thought it was you. I
Okay.
think it was the fella you had on. So I said, "Hey, how about like a
Oh.
commission for this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it really, I don't know how you want to paint it. Like, you're looking for something, what kind of model do you want?" I'm like, "Oh wait, no, that's the wrong person."
Yeah, I'll get a better way to contact me. All right, we need some debris. That's what I need.
Pardon me. Well, I'm doing kind of a garbage job. You're doing much better than me right now.
Are you doing kind of a garbage job? You're probably doing better than you're saying. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're getting a little there. I'll start handling this. Sometimes it's just one of those things where it takes a while for what you're going to do to kind of click.
Yeah.
That's why it's almost like sketching, where, I'll sketch a bunch of different drawings to finally get the one you like. And it's like this, it's the kind of same thing. You got to like sketch some different things, what you're going to do, try some stuff out, and then you kind of half stumble upon what looks good.
Yep. I've had a few miniatures where I'm just like, well, I'm totally stripping all the paint off this. Again.
Goblin Grotto, awesome. Just so we can sort out a day for part two. Oh, yes, absolutely, Goblin. Yeah, reach out to me on Instagram and then we'll figure that out so we can get you on so you can talk about that incredible Titan.
Yeah, I'll be watching that one. So
Yeah,
cool.
That's the thing. I get all, it's good. I like this because I get a chance to nerd out. I don't get to nerd out with anyone. That's why I see all these things and I love everyone's models and what they have going on. And I just, you're sitting here by yourself and you can't, talk to anyone about it or anything. So like, this is like the best reason to be you check all these out, like this thing, the Titan. I got a Space Wolves one, or no, a Orcs one that I'm excited about with like this one. I think I got it on here. Yeah, I got to do this one, and this will be fun. It's a good composition,
cool.
so I'll have fun with that one.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, there's quite a few. All right, let me see this in time lapse. I'll see what I got here. And I'm glad you were able to get on a little bit. See, I kind of like that part though.
The
Oh,
streaks.
yeah. There's something that there's too much on this version right here, but there's a couple. I think I got those layers saved. I'm gonna kind of like edit that, and I might bring some of that back. I think I like the bottom two. I don't like the ones on the side, but I think the bottom two are kind of on something.
Mm-hmm.
I know I
It's
gotta
funny.
go.
When you do the time lapse, it looks like there's like thunder and lightning in the
Yeah,
background.
they're actually exploding, and I wish I could stay in one spot longer because Martin, he edits some of my videos, does, and he does some cool stuff on zooming close up, and it's, if I draw the explosion right, it's almost like it's exploding as I'm drawing it, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
because it starts with a little circle and then the pieces come off, and but I bounce around too much for him to like focus on one thing. All right, now we gotta go with a add color. Oh wait.
So people don't just do commission work. You also have a Patreon, right?
Yeah, and I have to organize that more. So the Patreon, um, right now, it's probably the best. So as far as price wise, if someone were to get commission, I would still beat out Christmas, but like, so after probably like 10, 11 months, I do the commission piece for the 12. So if you stay like for a year, you get a commission at the end of it, you know? So people, if they knew, hey, I'm going to be done with a piece or I want to get something for Christmas or whatever, they could join the Patreon, make, you know, like $6 payments a month, or, you know, I have a couple different tiers, but you could, you know, pay that way. And then at the end, you get, the $6 tier, you get like a commission, you know, Paintover for one of your minis, sometimes like two or whatever, depending.
Mhm.
I probably do more for my Patreons because there's so little that a lot of times, like I just, one of the Patreons, Bad Posture Paint birthday, so I wanted to do them a couple. I got one of them done. I did this one for him.
Yeah, thing's awesome.
So I did that one for him just because I'm like, I appreciate, he was like my first patron, and
Mhm.
the trickle of steady money kind of helps because I use it for things like my Switcher Studio. You know what I mean? I got to pay monthly to use that. So, you know, that just little bit of steady income helps me. So, but I am organizing that a bit more and like going to push it more. I got to post. I was posting there more regularly, and then I kind of got busy with this, and now I'm going to set myself a. I was on so many platforms, it took me a while to figure out my approach and how I'm going to use them and the right way to use them and not just spam the same info over all of them type thing. And I think
Yeah.
I'm finally, you know, figuring that out, and I can have a more long form, thought out, you know, maybe once every 2 week post on there of what's really going on and give them sort of a deeper inside scoop. Like a lot of them are on my Discord and we talk about, you know, stuff going on and that. But, you know,
Mhm.
trying to do the, and I have a coffee or, yeah, it's a coffee, I think. So, and I do that sometimes for free paint over days, and a lot of people will donate on that, you know, because they'll get a free paint over and be like, hey, give you some money for it and stuff like that. So I've tried a bunch of stuff and I like them. I see how they fit, and people have been, you know, generous. I don't expect people to like, you know, give donations for the free ones or whatever, but it's been working out good. So I'm just slowly corralling them all and learning how to use them and how it fits in my workflow. 8 viewers. Appreciate that. Hopefully people are getting some hobby done while they listen. If you're working on any hobby stuff, let me know in the live chat. And later, so we're going to start a regular show with the Forge of Mars. I don't know if we want to call it a show yet, but somehow in my mind it's a show. And um, somehow I'm going to start like either in like the YouTube to kind of promote it on YouTube or the chat. I want to, like, the week we have it, maybe we'll go through either like tweets or YouTube comments and pick somebody and do a paint over for them on the next week's show. You know what I mean? So I have a free paint over day, which is overdue, but I want to do one for the show that's more like you pick it and then I'll paint it over kind of live deal. So I've been mulling over, different ways I can do some good, just interaction with the people and stuff, and give, if someone's going to sit here and watch my stream and that, I kind of, if I have a chance to award them or do something for them, I kind of want to.
And that's time well spent, right? It's not, I mean, you're doing it for free technically, but it's also good.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a
it,
promotion too, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, someone gets something out of it. I get, I have a new YouTube, so a little bit goes a long way type deal.
like the dreaded, I'll I'll give you exposure as payment, but at least in this way, you get to pick. You are choosing to do that, not somebody
Yes.
like saying that their exposure is worth
Yeah.
anything.
And I'm in a thing where I'm having fun with it, so I wanna I want to keep working at it, because I work at it. I don't even know what I'm working. I don't even want to think about how many hours I'm putting into it a day, but I'm enjoying it. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, if I get the opportunity and people are enjoying, I want to keep going with it. I'm like, I enjoy painting over the models, and, I'll keep working at it and, see what happens. Martin says, whoops, got distracted looking at the other screen. I've got a starter kit coming. So 2 Reavers, 2 Warhounds, 2 Knights, and another box of 2 more Warhounds. A lot of people I know are starting to play Adeptus Titanicus.
Titanicus, I've played it a few times. It is super fun.
You see, that's what I played, the old one, like Space Marine or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play Battlefleet Gothic?
No, I did not. Battlefleet Gothic, I did not play. I played Man of War, but never Battlefleet Gothic.
So imagine what a big ocean-going vessel game would feel like playing. And
Gotcha.
that's kind of what Adeptus Titanicus plays like.
Okay,
You're
yeah, because they can
maneuvering,
take all the hits and
you're
weather and
maneuvering
wear
these
down and stuff.
huge, ponderous vehicles, and you have to plan their actions ahead of time.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what your opponent's going to do. And sometimes you don't even know what your own Titan
Units
is
are
going
going
to
to
do.
do.
It's a lot of fun.
I can tell I'll end up playing it, because I bought Necromunda. That's kind of, I played a lot back in the 80s and 90s, just with friends. But I started seeing those, and when Necromunda came out, I'm like, I want to get some and play again, because I always loved the, level up your gang and all that good stuff. So I was like, this is the time to jump back in, and the sculpts and everything coming out of, GW have been amazing the last however many years. Well, probably forever, but still, you know what I mean? They got the new, they're not doing the metal ones anymore or anything.
Oh. And those plastics, man, wow.
Yeah.
Well, both the
Even
plastic and resin, both are really,
the ones
they're
I
doing.
really love, I couldn't believe how good the Blood Bowl miniatures. I'm like, I love the Blood Bowl miniatures. They gave up, like, the
Yeah.
miniature quality of those are some of my favorite ones coming out of GW. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, there's some truly delightful miniatures in the Blood Bowl range. The
I want to,
halflings are out of
yes,
control.
I want to take the halflings and make a Necromunda gang out of them. That's what I'm
There is
talking about.
nothing
I want to
fun.
do a halfling Necromunda gang, and the same with it's the Bretonians or whatever. I wanted to make them like snooty noblemen who are in the, going hunting in the Underdark.
I know there's a few people who are doing. They're just gonna be kit bashing those into Tridelian nobles or whatever.
Oh, see,
Like
Goblin
noble.
Grotto says, right now I'm getting my hands on a Forge World Reaver Titan. That'll be my year project. Oh, I bet. Huge Reaver.
Nice.
And for the listeners again, what is your podcast again?
Oh, Masters of the Forge.
Okay.
We do. We're focused on narrative play gaming, so we do some lore talk. but it's usually the important thing to us is how it ties into the tabletop. So
That's going to be interesting. I'll end up listening. I slowly get introduced, to more and more people, such as yourself, and it's like that's how I catch them. Like, okay, I'm curious, and plus I get a chance to talk to you, kind of know more what you're about. I'm like, all right, I dig it, and I dig the shirt thing really captivated me. I gotta listen to the podcast. He knows how to wear a shirt when he's painting.
we do our own custom rules sometimes. So
Yep.
that's the kind of thing we're into. We don't really go into the competitive nature of the
Yep.
game or anything like that.
Yeah, fun, and like that was part of the thing for me, is that it was storytelling in a way. It was like it's a form of storytelling that wasn't completely under your control. It was like there's some dice involved in making the story. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, why are these space marines fighting this, and are they going to survive? And you know what I mean? Do they? So that was always in my mind when I would play that kind of stuff as well. Hence Necromunda.
Necromunda is delightful. I guess it's a little less deadly than it used to be.
I was wondering. Okay.
I guess they're, oh, well, so Goonhammer, they're a website. They're a Warhammer website.
Yep.
I'm not really into Necromunda, but I do know that their Necromunda people have been working on a add-on for Necromunda to make it. So these days, Necromunda is a little bit more elite forces who actually know what they're doing and are competent at what they're doing.
Okay, instead of before it was like not Blood Bowl is bad, but a little tinge of that Blood Bowl effect.
It's a bunch of morons with guns made of garbage shooting bullets that might not work. Yeah. So Goonhammer has a person who's working on making an add-on for the game so that your guys are basically a bunch of garbage humans shooting garbage guns, and that should be fun. But still, the fact that they're putting so much effort into the miniatures and the rules and stuff is nice. I think people really love the game.
Yeah, I didn't foresee them. I mean, because back in the day when I played, like something would come out and then they'd be like, you might be waiting a decade for more. They would at least like a couple miniatures. Like when's more something or other going to come out? It wouldn't be for a long time. And now, I saw Necromunda come out and they like cranked out a bunch of gangs and everything. I didn't know they were going to go hardcore at it, so that was good.
Games Workshop has been making a great deal of money.
Yeah.
People are playing the games. People are buying the games. I don't know all the details about it, but the fact is a lot of people are buying Warhammer stuff, and they've broadened their bench quite a bit. They've diversified quite a bit. I'm not sure if I don't know how much more profitable that makes them.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure how much profit they're getting from Blood Bowl and from Necromunda, but the fact that they have that diversity is probably working in their favor, even if they're not making a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
And the miniatures are beautiful. People use those miniatures for way other stuff than just Necromunda.
I agree with that.
So I guess it behooves them to have that diversity of
tossing in the behoove. Good one. I like it. Word of the day, we got a behoove out there.
It's the word of the day. Someone was making a political point, but it was really funny. Aside from the political point they were making, like Games Workshop means more to the
than the fishing industry or whatever,
British economy than their entire fishing industry, which is amusing.
It's staggering considering I don't know, just back then. I look at this White Dwarf, like the '89 convention, it's black and white pictures and everything,
Mm-hmm. You got Jervis Johnson with his sunglasses on, and Andy Andy Chambers with
Yeah.
his giant hair.
Oh, he did have the That's hilarious. He did have the glass. That's right.
So funny.
Goblin
I got
Grotto.
to, I had the
What
pleasure of meeting Andy Chambers at
did you?
Adepticon a few years ago. He's a delightful gentleman.
Good.
He needs to stop smoking. If you're watching, Andy, you need to quit. You're getting too old for that. You're just not gonna end well for you. But he was a delightful person, and he signed my Orcs Codex, my old
Yeah.
second or third edition Orcs I think it was a third edition Orcs Codex, which was really cool. This was when he was working on Drop Fleet Commander, I think.
Oh yeah. Wow. I haven't heard that name in a while.
It was kind of a lot of the stuff from that was very reminiscent of um, Battlefleet Gothic, but he wrote Battlefleet Gothic, so it's
Yeah.
understandable.
They don't have a. Were they talking about? I remember Space Hulk back in the day. They don't have a Space Hulk. Wasn't it Space Hulk even relaunched like I don't know 10 years ago or something?
Was yeah,
Oh, okay.
Space Hulk was launched. People love that game too, and you know what though? It's such a good game, like for the iPad, that
Oh,
in some ways, yeah, some of these games are actually
I didn't know that
so
was an
well.
iPad. I have Blood Bowl on here, but I didn't know. Huh? I'll have to
Mhm.
look that up.
Yeah, some of these games are so well suited for like an electronic format that
Absolutely.
sometimes it's almost better that they're done that way.
Yeah.
Um, Titanicus has an electronic version if you wanted to spend a few bucks just to try it out.
Yeah.
Um, there's some people who've done a turn-based Adeptus Titanicus on Steam.
Okay.
Um, a lot of these aren't super full featured, but
No, no, it gets you the yeah.
you get your fix exactly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to spray this with a clear coat pretty soon just to kind of lock it in because paint is weird. It has different
So,
paints have different patinas,
oh, yep.
and it helps to just lock it in with a spray coat just so that everything has the same patina so you can better see the fades
Interesting.
and the blends. Yeah.
That was another thing in a live stream like this. I love because I think when especially when I start a more regular show, I want to format not necessarily like hard segments, but like I maybe the first 15 minutes I talk about my process. Maybe the next 15 minutes someone, talks about or 20 minutes or half hour or whatever it is so that if I have a hour and a half long stream that at least someone is like, hey, I like painting tips, so I'll go to the half hour mark, and generally that's where the painting tips at. And I don't know if that
Right.
makes sense, but in my mind I think it does.
Like segments, like actually structured segments.
Yeah, like
We're going to
soft,
talk about
not on a
this.
live stream like this, but if I do a regular show, have like, just general segments. So I might go
Right.
that way.
It's not a bad idea.
Yes, back when, what did Martin say? Yes, back when we wanted to be a space wolf and the other was trying the best to be Roy Orbison. I love Drop Fleet. I have a full UCM fleet in a storage box. I also have a new version of Space Hulk on the shelf. Oh my gosh, Martin, of course. GW is worth more than the UK fishing, mainly because of the idiots like me who get shiny thing syndrome. And
Yep.
Goblin Grotto says, haha, it's true. Unless you go up north where I'm from, we love our cod and scampi.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I could go for cod and scampi.
Well, it is what is it? Good Friday? Last Friday, I think, or whatever it is where everybody eats fish. So
Yeah.
McDonald's has their two fillet of fish for.
Oh, the deal. Yeah, the fillet of fish deal to get them,
I'll get that and I'll like take two halves of the bun off and I'll have a a
A
double
double.
filet of fish.
Yeah.
So I'm not eating as much. Well, I mean, let's be honest, it's breaded, so it's pretty bad
Yeah, but
already.
I
But
hear ya.
mm-hmm.
Winning.
What a precious little guy.
Oh my gosh, we've already been here 2 hours. It might be time to. We'll start ramping it up in a little bit. I'm still in a quandary in this, so I'm going to end up working on it tomorrow. I tried a whole
Yeah,
bunch of different skies, and I don't know where I'm at.
I was actually going to ask you, like, was it difficult to switch gears from the Titan to this and then back again, or do you prefer to let it percolate for a day or two between sessions?
There is usually I like if given the option, so this one that I'm at, so I know I have elements that I really like. I'm like, okay, I know how my blasts are going to work out. I have to do them all and light the vehicle more. So I kind of know I'll have the vehicle under control. And
Mm-hmm.
there's something I have going on that I like about the background, and I'm not sure what it fully is. So I'm like I'm all around the edges, but then I'm like, okay, that's too clustery, and it's like it's this one almost wants to be, but it's still not smooth. So there's just some sort of light or some sky effect that it's going to be real easy when I do it. It'll probably be something that takes just 15 minutes, and I'll figure it out, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
missing it right now. So this is the type
Yeah.
of thing where it's like, okay, pause. I know how all the gunfire is going to go. I know how like the extra stuff. I'll put more lighting on the planes and all that stuff. So these will all be really cool, and I'll fix the sparks. But right now, my mind can't settle past the background thing. I'm like, okay, so I know it's going to be. I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably chill out tonight and try all kinds of things, put more explosions, delete more stuff until I get what I want to do,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's not soothing me compositionally. So I want to, and it's such a strong, you have such a strong composition here. I just want to match those elements, and I can't quite get it right now. So that's one where
Yeah.
I would pause, and then my mind will catch up to it later, and I'll be like,
The
oh,
engines look
okay.
great though. The weapons fire looks great. The lighting is coming along real nicely. Looks wonderful so
So
far, dude.
yeah, and there'll be more on this vehicle, and I haven't blurred little edges, so I'm gonna
Mhm.
go and I'll start like the back of the fins and the back of the wings. I start blurring a little, and where the gunfire is, I didn't have it light anything up really yet or anything. So all that's gonna,
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean? All
like
and this
where
guy
the
isn't
like the
lit at
middle
all.
guy
There's
right there. Yeah, you'll have like the glow from the weapons fire kind of
Yeah, I'll
light up
put the
the
glow
gun.
on that, and he's going to have the engines burning. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there'll be some great. I want to have. He's got that. I love how it looks like the cords are almost plugged into the back of his head, and he's driving this thing.
Great. He's
Yeah,
so
so
wonderful.
I want to power that up. You know what I mean? I was fascinated by that detail. I'm like, wait, is he like plugged in with all this stuff? I'm like, okay, I gotta, and I could make some of these things spinning and glowing right behind him, and this
Uh-huh.
plane has a lot. So and it has the vents. So I'm like, oh, some of these got to have smoke and flame coming out of these vents in here.
Uh-huh.
So I will end up. Let me think. I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So if you want, feel free to do crazy something crazy. Like if you feel
Yeah,
like the composition is too like it's already pretty solid that like
yeah.
adding too much on the ground would take away from it. If you want to do something crazy like make it like an ocean below or
I'm gonna do
like with
something.
float
I'm
or
gonna end
even
up.
like space wreckage out there. Maybe it's not even on the ground. Maybe
I
it's in
know we
space.
could, and I'm gonna.
Anything you want to do.
Oh, go.
That's what I'm saying. I was just saying, like, you're the artist, man. I'm I'm not going to
No,
be
no,
disappointed.
I'm down for the feedback, and so that's what I just hey, that's where I'm at, and I know like this looks so it looks so in your face right now, so I like that, like the darker it really looks like this thing is pushing, and there'll be a little more atmospheric haze between the top ship and the bottom ship, so I'm going to put a little bit of like there'd be a little more atmosphere between them, so it'll help push down that bottom airplane just a little bit, and I'll probably have his guns firing off the back and stuff. So I'll push him down a little bit and then re-highlight him and then do all the cool glows and energy. So it's going to push some distance between these two and even force that one. But I just love the look of this. So I got to get a background to match. And what's funny is it's probably not going to even be, it's going to be a shape, or I'm going to try a couple different things. Like totally, I might have like half planet shapes and stuff. So I'm going to go through it like during the night and kind of come up with some more different compositions, because I'm just not getting it in my head what I want with that.
Okay,
And I
cool.
know there's something cool there. And like
Great.
I love the lights. I know how some of these, like when I get the gun blasts all done and light it and shade some more and all that. So I know I can pull off the vehicles. It's just I want that environment to wrap around it good, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna try some stuff because this
Well,
thing is
I
awesome. I
love
can't wait to
so
like
far,
blur
man.
little edges and do all the little detail stuff too.
Hmm. It's
What
great.
did they say? Oh, proper fish and chips, mate. I had fish and chips in the UK once.
Yep, me too. I went. One time I actually managed to get to Nottingham once a
Did
few
you?
years ago before the baby was born. It was a nice trip. We went to um Salute, which is a 1 day like gaming trade show. It was good fun.
Martin, you get some sleep. I'm going to end it here anyway here shortly, and then I'm going to end up tackling some more of this tomorrow or tonight. Probably tonight. I don't even think it's that late here. I'll end
Hmm.
up working on it tonight. I want to solve. There's something here, and I can't. And usually I try to get my mind. I realize too now with some of these live streams, especially the commissions, even at the beginning, if I get something blocked in, if my mind knows where I want to go, it's a little easier to get there. Sometimes I don't have it in mind, and I didn't prep this one enough today. Like I could have ran some more basic
Hmm.
shapes through it to kind of get what I was going for in the background, and I didn't know. And so now, like going forward, I know, hey, I kind of pre-prep the drawing and get an idea, so I don't, you know what I mean? Like I knew I could
Hmm.
get some of it done, and this is going to take a while anyway, but it's going to look
Yeah.
cool. Like I can tell the elements are here to make it look cool. So now it's just getting that environment to wrap around it good.
Yeah, I think you've made all the good choices, like as far as the guns. I think it
Yeah,
would be too much if the big cannon were shooting right now.
I think so
Um,
too. It would overpower. I'm like, I'll put the little ones in. The engines are going to have some smoke and stuff coming off of them. So these front engines, I will end up putting like this. I got a pretty good technique down right now. This won't look like much, but when it's done later, I'll do some
right,
type of
right, something
smoke will
like
be
that.
coming over there.
Right, something like that coming out of the
Yeah,
cowlings or
so then
whatever.
it'll like plow out. I'll put some in the right spot so it'll kind of, more come alive like that.
Right.
Blowing over, and there'll be some smoke down. I got to put some smoke over there and stuff. So I'm going to go,
Right.
and because the orcs have so much going on that I want to use that. They have all the fun stuff, and
Right.
everything's sparking on an orc vehicle and everything everywhere it goes.
Mm-hmm. And out maybe out of the cowling that you have the energy, the glow. I love the behind the smoke there, that energy you
The
put
vent,
in the
yeah.
vent. That's so cool. I love that. That's a
So I'm
good
going to end up,
detail.
yeah. This one's fun. So, and a lot of these, I like this. I'm going to go through and noodle because I like to try to learn and kind of I try to keep pushing the skills on every commission. It's like, okay, learn and go and, adapt and, keep getting techniques that work and stuff. So I tend to
Hmm.
try to like push each one and introduce elements I haven't done before. But yeah, this is going to be
Yeah.
cool. So the little glow, like right here, this is a good effect. I like it. Wait, cancel. Uh, whoops. I like this little glow. It has like
Mm.
the vent. It just pushes out that little bit of glow. So I'll be able to play up some of that on this, and it helps round it out and bring a little more
Yeah.
life to it in the composition.
Yeah, if you put that on the other engine too, that'll be
Yeah,
really
it's going to be over
cool.
here. Yeah. So I'm going to do some of that and play with I have these shaded layers on, and I'm going to tweak some of that so that the lighting really starts to pop on that.
Awesome.
And I'll do the same
Awesome.
with the back engines and kind of hoses and stuff. So, and that stuff will come to me quicker once I sort of lock in the background. I can't tell yet what I want for it. And as soon as I get that, I'm like, okay, I can see how all the light's going to play out. So
Hmm.
I'm close because there's not much. The tough part is with the machines themselves are so chaotic with so much going on that you can't put a lot in the background because then it becomes that clown fest, so it's like your
Yeah.
elements, where you put them and how they are and the light and stuff really has to play right.
Right. And something like this, a lot of the work is should be on the ship and
Yep.
not,
Yep. Yeah,
uh,
because I mean, look at everything
copying and
that's on
pasting
this.
pasting a Google image of Berlin or something.
No, and I might try some. Sometimes I grab some old ones and warp them together, and I might
Yep.
actually try putting some stuff. I'll cycle through things, and then I will, even if we're not in touch, on like camera or anything, I'll show you some other versions. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
All
I'll
right.
mock up a bunch of stuff, and we'll see kind of which one we like for the background.
All right. Cool. Well, if you're looking for a city to bomb, I'm in Mechanicville, New York. So if you wanna if you wanna you wanna bomb a city, go ahead and look that up and superimpose that.
No, it's going to be awesome. I'll get the colors, and then like all the smoke's gonna go and the lighting will be more, honed in there and everything.
Hmm.
But it'll be awesome.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it, my friend. It's been really cool hanging out with you and everybody else who has been
Yeah, I
following along.
appreciate it. We're gonna have to do this again. I keep seeing this, and I stream. I'm gonna be streaming quite a bit. You know what I mean? And a
Hmm.
lot of people I'll just have on back whenever. And I kind of want to have a list of people who would just be interested in coming back, because then sometimes if I spontaneously, hey, I'll do a paint over, I can see if anyone's available type thing. And
Hmm.
so it's been good to meet people.
Well, maybe if you want, you can join us on Masters of the Forge sometime.
Oh, I
We'd be
would.
happy to
I would have
have
no
you.
problem with that.
Talk
I
about
would.
talk about some of the stuff we've talked about today, like your technique and what you do
Yeah.
and stuff. I think people would
No, I
really be
would do
interested to
that
hear
for
that.
sure.
All right, cool.
Well, I will end the podcast here. For real, thanks everyone who joined us. Really appreciate it. And I will be doing an update, and then I don't know, on this picture I'll probably end up posting it in a couple days when I finish it up and after talking to Adam more. Adam, thank you very much for joining us, and everyone have a good night. There, that's ending.